Now I'd like to welcome onto our program, Nitzan Horowitz. He's the former Israeli health minister. Thank you so much for joining us today. So obviously there's been big developments. Donald Trump kind of taking, I think, the world by surprise a bit because he had said 2 weeks he'd make his decision. And then the next thing you know, he's ordered the missile strikes on the nuclear sites in Iran. What's the reaction been in Israel to this?
Oh, there is a great satisfaction in Israel. There is a sense of great achievement by all parts of Israeli society. You know, this attack in Iran by Israel was sort of a gamble because Israel knew that it could not do it on its own. And now, when the U.S. is helping Israel achieving the goal of destruction of the nuclear infrastructure, then Israelis are quite pleased, and you heard Prime Minister Netanyahu complimenting Trump, etc. So this is really a great relief, also a sense of relief in Israel that we are not alone on this. So yes, by all means.
Well, earlier we also heard from the U.S. Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, and he said that this was not an open-ended operation. It was a targeted operation to go in. These 3 sites only targeting nuclear program, not targeting the Iranian government, not targeting Iranian people. He said it was an amazing success. They've done a lot of destruction. We also know the Israeli military is independently assessing that. They're looking to see, and we won't know immediately. What happens if they haven't done as much destruction as they hoped they had? What does that calculate for Netanyahu and the Israeli government?
Look, there are 2 possible scenarios here at play. First, that the Iranian nuclear program was hit in a certain way, and then a sort of weakened Iran would get to the table of negotiations quite soon to resume negotiations on a new nuclear deal from different perspective, you know, from after this attack, after the regime was hit. So this is one scenario. Second scenario is that Iran would resist that and would continue launching missiles towards Israel. Maybe Iran would involve other countries in that, like the Gulf countries, oil facilities in the Gulf, Saudi, Emirati, Bahraini, etc. Threats have been made already by Iran. So, and this would mean like, the war go on, more casualties, more destruction. There is also a third scenario, by the way, which is inside sort of movement in Iran, maybe a regime change by all sorts of Iranian opposition forces. Israelis do talk about it, even openly. And I think if you question the Israeli government, they would prefer the third scenario, that in order to achieve really the destruction of the Iranian nuclear program and to stop Iranian support of terrorism and the Iranian ballistic program, then you would have, you need a regime change. And they hope that this attack would make the regime, let's say, would encourage internal forces inside Iran to topple the regime. It's not the official thing here, but everybody talks about it. Everybody's talking about it. And I think this is the real intention of Israel, that this attack would bring about the fall of the Islamic regime in Tehran.
So if the Israeli government, Israeli people are secretly hoping for regime change.
Not so secretly, by the way.
Well, maybe
yes.
Not so secretly hoping, but it's not a necessarily stated objective. What happens if that is the case? The other times when there's been an intervention and there has been a regime change, Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, it hasn't turned out that great. So who steps in Iran?
You're absolutely right. This is very risky. You know, Israel is nevertheless a small country. Iran is very big. It's 1,500 kilometers far away from Israel. It's a regional power. Now, a process of destabilization can cause major problems in the region. This is why I say it's risky. And in any case, Israel would not be able to handle it on its own. So, you know, the U.S., I heard the declarations by the American Defense Secretary, etc. They say it's limited, but once the U.S. is involved, then if Iran retaliates and attack U.S. military installations, etc., the U.S. might be dragged in and continue the operation. So it's not the end of the story, not at all. It's just the beginning, I think. I'm afraid.
Nitzan Horowitz, thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you for inviting
me. Sharing your insights. He's a former Israeli health minister.